Hello friends, welcome back to my channel 365 IT Pros. Today we are going to create Power Automate to add or remove working days from a given date. We have a direct function to add or remove days to a given date in a Power Automate, but we do not have a function to add or remove work days from a given date. I'm going to solve that problem by creating this custom Power Automate, and I will also share export of this Power Automate with you guys to try it out on your own environment. Let's start. First, I'm going to explain you the logic, how I'm going to build this Power Automate, and then I'll create this Power Automate on my own environment. So the Power Automate is going to take two parameters, date, which is a given date to which I want to add or remove days. And second parameter would be actual number of days to be added or removed. I'll use positive days to add number of days, and I'll use negative number to remove number of days. Once I have these two parameters, I am going to initialize an array of a dates called holidays. This holiday array is going to contain list of holidays which I want to exclude from my target date calculation. Once I have this array set up, I'm going to create a date range, or I would say an array of dates, which will include all dates right from 1 year from my given date, past 1 year from my given date, to next 1 year from my given date. If I want to add more number of days than a year, let's say if I want to add 200 days, then my date range will vary accordingly, and I will add days from past 2 years from a given date to next 2 years from a given date. In the same way, if I want to add or remove, let's say 300 or 400 days, my array is going to vary accordingly. Along with dates, I'm also going to add two more attributes to each date. First one is day. It will tell me which day of week is this date. 0 being a Sunday, 1 being Monday, and so on. 6th day is a Saturday. Along with that, I'm also going to tag each date whether it is a holiday or not, using holiday array which I initialized previously. Once I have this date range ready, I'm going to filter all weekends and holidays from this date range to derive a new date range having just working days. So here I've removed date which are tagged as day 0 or day 6. So I've removed my Sunday and Saturday. Along with that, I've also removed any date which is tagged holiday equals true to remove holidays from my working days. Now I have an array of dates which are work days. Then I'm going to find the position of a given date to which I want to add or remove number of days. Let's say if my given date is 23rd February 2023, the position of this particular date in an array is 3. Now, if I want to add 3 days to this date, I'm going to add 3 days to that position 3, which will give me position 6 and target date as 28th February 2023. Similarly, if I have to remove 3 days, I'm going to subtract number 3 from my position, which is 3. So 3 minus 3 is 0, which leaves me with the target date 20th February 2023. So this is the logic I'm going to use in order to create a Power Automate. Now let's go and implement this Power Automate in my environment. I am here in my Power Automate environment and I have already built an Power Automate to add or remove work days from a given date. I have selected an instant flow to manually trigger so that I can call this flow from any other flow as a child flow. It takes two parameters, source date, which is a date to which I want to add or remove number of days, and days to be added or removed, which is an integer, at least positive number to add number of days, and negative number to remove number of days. Once I have these two parameters, I am initializing an array, which is a set of holidays which I want to exclude from my target calculation. Then I'm creating a start date for my date range. So here I'm using a start date as a 1 year before the source date, because I want to use this flow to add or remove number of days which are less than a year. If I have more number of days than a year to be added or removed, then accordingly I can change this number to derive the start date for my date range. Then I'm creating a date range, which is a range of dates from 1 year from source date to next 1 year from my source date. So if my source date is 23rd February 2024, then my date range will be from 23rd February 2023 to 23rd February 2025. My date range will have three attributes: date, which is a date of a year, then day, which is a day of a week, day 0 being a Sunday, 1 being a Monday, and so on, day 6 being a Saturday. And also it will have an additional flag to check whether a given date is holiday or not. I'm using the holiday array which I initialized before to set this flag. Once I have a date range, I am removing weekends and holidays from my date range. So I've excluded all the dates where holiday is set to true, or if a day of a week is 0 or a 6, which is nothing but Sunday and Saturday. In next two steps, I am finding the position of my date or a source date to which I want to add or remove a days. So I am getting the position of a date in array. I am storing that position in a variable called position. Once I know the position of a source date, I am going to add the number of days to the position to find the position of a target date and the actual target date. So here I am getting the position of a source date to which I am adding the number of days or removing the number of days to find the target date positions and the actual target date. So I'll quickly run this flow and I'll show you how this works. So let's say I'm going to trigger this flow manually, and let's say my source date is 16 February 2024. This time I'm going to add 10 days, and I'm going to run this flow. My flow is completed, and my target date is 4th March 2024. This also includes, or I would say excludes, holiday on 19th February 2024 from the calculation. So my target date is 4th March 2024. Now I'll again run this flow to remove number of days. So this time again I'm going to select, let's say 16th February as a source date, but I'm going to remove 10 days. So I'm going to use number -10, and this flow runs very quickly. If I look at target date, it is 2nd February 2024, which is 10 days before 16th February. I can further check this flow to check the performance of the flow to add more number of days. So if let's say my target date is January, and I'm going to add, let's say 100 days. Yeah, it takes less than a second to derive the target date, and my output will be 30th May 2024. You will find the link to this flow in my description. You can download and import this flow on your environment and let me know your comments. Thank you very much. If you like this video, please like my channel and subscribe to my channel.